trust is a choice. And there's a lot out there in the research, in literature, and popular media about building trust. And I've fallen in that category before too. And I do think there are things we can do to help create evidence for how we can trust, whether it's trusting ourselves or others. But I want to reemphasize to myself and to you that trust is a choice, which means we can always choose it. And the way that this came up for me was very recently. I was having a conversation with my coach, who is amazing, Catherine Green. I just love her. She's a master coach through the Life Coach School, which is also where I was certified, and she's just fabulous. Okay. And what we were coaching on was about me and my husband wanting to do business together, our own thing, create something new. And I was realizing every time I would come to him, I was coming from this place of defensiveness because I always felt like he could quit on me at any time. Like I didn't trust that he was really invested in working with me on a business, a new venture that we have. And this is a spoiler alert, but it is a brewing. It is happening. We are working together and I am so excited. But anyways, back to the story at hand about trust. I would come to him to these conversations from this place of distrust. I didn't realize it at the time. Working with my coach, Catherine, is what helped me to actually see it. But what I was experiencing was distrust. I would be defensive because I kept thinking, he's not really on board. I don't know if he's just going to quit on me. I can't tell if he's fully showing up. And I had reason to think these things. I had evidence I'd built up, things he had said about his concerns, about things that could go wrong, questions he asked. But I didn't have to make that mean I couldn't trust him. And yet that's what my brain was doing. And so I'm coaching with my coach, and she looks at me and goes, do you see that you're not trusting him? Not that I had to trust him, but do you see that that's what's happening? And she didn't say quite like that, but this is kind of what came out. And I realized I wasn't. And we kept talking, and she helped me to see that I could trust him now. My brain wanted us to have built the business, it be going smoothly and strongly before I could trust that he was invested. And because I was waiting for that, it was meaning I wasn't trusting him, which also meant in a way that I wasn't somebody that was even invested in the business because I was so focused on whether or not he was invested that I was holding myself back. As soon as my coach helped me to see, I didn't have to wait for the evidence. I could just decide to trust that he was in this. Regardless, I could just believe that and let myself believe that. As soon as I did that, the whole next week was completely different. I was coming up with new ideas. My husband was still raising concerns and asking questions, but instead of me thinking that meant he wasn't invested, I actually saw how that meant how invested he was. Because I trusted he was there, I could take the same types of questions and see how, wow, he wouldn't be asking these if he weren't interested, if he didn't think it could happen. And I used that same thing that before had meant I couldn't trust him to mean, see, I can. Because I'm choosing to take the same situation, the same types of questions, and use it in such a different way. So I share this to say to you, you don't have to wait for the evidence to trust. And when you trust someone, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. As soon as I let myself just trust that he was invested in it, I showed up so much differently. I came up with new ideas. I had actual responses to his questions. I wasn't just in this defense. I was proactively thinking of new ideas, listening to him without this filter of questioning his investment or how into it or how committed he was. Instead, from this place of how are we going to figure this out? I showed up so much differently. I was invested. So that is what this trust can do. You don't need to trust for the other person. You trust for you, and you show up for you and for whatever it is that you're working on in that time. So I wanted to share that with you because it really has rocked my world. I use it in my own coaching practice, my business, and then I'm using it in the business that my husband and I are building as we speak. And I use it in my daily life too. So thank you so much, and we will talk soon.